Chris had said, she says, and of course, my love of nature comes from her father. And she says, ignorance is bliss, or not.
Maybe that's why they stayed like that. I don't know. It
Right?
would
Okay.
work for me, but you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, at least we've got some really great followers of Girls in the City. I mean, going back to the post over here.
Well, the one thing I want to emphasize about this topic that we're discussing, I mean, it happens to a lot of women. It
Mhm.
happens to a lot of women. And so when I do this work, my point is, my goal is always to get them to forgive. Forgiving dad, forgiving mom is really important. And then I paint the picture of, if you knew that, like I always ask, do you believe in reincarnation? Because some people don't, but that's okay. But I go, well, I I do, but the way that helps me look at things sometimes is that if you knew that this was a purpose that you came here to do, you came here to learn to forgive. You came
Mhm.
here to learn self-love, and this is all in Akashic records. That this is in your blueprint. This is what you will be doing in this lifetime, right? So when I can tell people, hey, there's a beautiful book. Neil Donald Walsh wrote it. He's the author of Conversations with God.
Ah.
And there's this little book. Hold on.
Ah.
Forgive my sweatpants.
You look cute, Dolly. And
Okay,
we're casual on this show because I expect you to bring
very.
props in too. So
This is such a great little book, Little Soul and the Earth.
little soul
It's
in the earth.
Neil. It's a children's book.
Okay.
It's a children's book, and I love this guy is awesome. I love him.
Okay,
And
let me see the author again because I'm writing that down.
Neil Donald Walsh, he is the author of Conversations with God.
Oh, so we've got two that we want: Little Soul and the Earth, and then Conversations with God, which is
Right.
really what it's all about in this world.
Yeah.
So
So,
like, if we stop looking for approval, right, from everybody else and just go up.
mhm. Yeah, but because you come here and then you have to go through these lessons,
Mhm.
right? So when I'm explaining this to somebody, and it just most of the people I work with are awake, and most of the people I work with do believe in reincarnation.
Oh, I do all day. Yeah.
Some people may not, but that's okay. They're just like on the fence about it.
Yeah. I got grandfather in the next room. So yeah, no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what I tell them is, listen, what if I told you that this had been a plan? Like this had been all you had asked for this. You actually chose your parents
Mhm.
because they were the ones that was going to teach you the best way what you wanted to learn, what your purpose was to come down here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I go, so basically it's like this. You're ready to come down and be born, and then you're standing at the bus stop, right? Up there. And
Right.
then somebody walks up and says, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to be the idiot that you marry, right? And it's going to be like red flags all over the place, and we're going to see if you learn how to pick somebody healthier and better for you eventually, right? Because this whole thing with you is learning self-love and learning forgiveness." So I just paint that little picture and they're like, "Oh, that kind of makes sense." I go, "It's a play. Everything we do is a play, and you're the star of your play. And you chose all your, supporting actors and actresses, and these are all the people in your play that are here to help you accomplish this goal of yours, is which is why you came here." So when I tell people that, they're kind of like, "Oh, that makes sense." And I'm like,
Well, because when you're an intuitive and you're awakening, and then like someone like you or I share that concept, it does resonate as true. Like they get it, like because it's getting
right,
reactivated, and
exactly.
right. So and it's you know I keep on forgetting what I want to say. I need to start taking. Oh yeah, I did take notes. Okay. Uh, One of those days, man. Woo. So, we're the final phase of the functional food program is like we have maybe 4 hours left of work left to do. And I was up to 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I got up at, early.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I I understand, you're tired, I know.
yeah, yeah. But the show that what I was gonna say is the show that I did with Michelle Froge, which is at the first Michelle Froge is the rock star coach, and she's on the show once a month, the first Tuesday of the month.
Mhm.
So the first Tuesday, I believe, was either December 5th or 6th, and we talked about self-love.
Mhm.
It was so, I mean, so powerful. Actually, you and I should do a show on that as well. And
Yeah.
then she and I are doing another show, of course, January 3rd, and it's on forgiveness.
It's
Right.
forgiveness is so I mean, look, you know who Dolores Cannon is?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
love Dolores Cannon. When
yes.
I first saw her, she was the absolute replica of my nana. My mom's
Really?
mom, same hair, I mean, the same little man I thought, "Oh my god, I'm looking at Nana." It's, like, weird, you know? She was so oh my god, the wisdom of that woman and all the information that she had gotten, it was crazy. Um she talks a lot, about, coming back and the reincarnation of all of our purposes and, all that kind of stuff. And the forgiveness is really something she talks a lot about as well. And she says, well, she's in these deep, you know, uh, hypnosis sessions that she's doing with people in past lives. And they're saying, I can't forgive. You don't know what they did to me, and it's not even about that. They did those things so that you could learn what you're
Forgive.
supposed to learn.
Yeah.
So what happened in my situation eventually, when I started doing all my healing, was I could go back and forgive my mom,
Mhm.
forgive my dad, and forget the horribly violent man that raised me from the age of 10 to 17, you know? And really forgive that, and that was a big deal. So, I mean, but once you do that
Hold on. I wanna make something really, really important here. So, and this is what you taught me,
Uh-huh,
okay? So, I forgave my mom and dad.
mhm,
I forgave my brother, my oldest brother, for abusing me, physically abusing me. The first thing I forgot, though, was to forgive myself for what
very
I did to
important.
activate it,
Mhm,
okay? The second thing I forgot to do was to remove the frequency and imprint and cellular memory from my body, because
mhm.
it's so, I mean, like, it comes across as judgmental, and I swear I wasn't trying to be, but it was. So so I'll just own it. But I say this often. In life, we get to choose to either be the dog or we get to be the tail of the dog, right? So the dog's leading the tail, but the tail's going, "Chee, chee, 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 chee," right?
Right?
So what do you want to be in life? Do you want to be the dog leading the charge? Or do you want to be the tail going, not really having an idea which way it's going to go because the dog's leading the way?
Yeah.
And I thought it was, sorry, oops. I thought it was the dog. Sorry, folks. I'm going to own this right here. I was the tail, even
Mhm,
when I thought it was the dog. And I was the tail because I was a tail because I had the imprint on my body still, even though I
mhm.
forgave them, and I had the frequency and the cellular imprint. And so until Gina pointed that out, right? Like that it was still present. Like you brought that out that I could see that frequency. I was still operating from that. Great that you forgive your parents. How are you going to get rid of that frequency? How are you
Yeah.
going to get rid of that cellular memory? How are you going to remove the imprint?
So, it does attach to your DNA,
Mhm.
okay? And this is part of the stuff that I do. I remove that through a very exhausting, emotionally draining technique. It's a letting go
Mhm.
technique, and, some people don't like it and some people love it, but I create emotion with motion
Mhm.
and pull that out. I give you the opportunity just between you and I'm there guiding you and watching over you, but I take you back to that moment of getting you emotional and pissed off and or feeling sad or whatever it is, and getting to tell that parent or whoever did that to you, right? Tell them how you felt. Why did you do that to me? And you're hitting a pillow or you're writing it in an impact letter or whatever works for you. That's what I use. And it does remove it. It does remove it. And then with the forgiveness after that, then you're in a completely different state and you feel so much lighter. And
Oh,
then we heal. Then I go and I heal the inner child, because that inner child is inside and they're the ones living with that imprint and everything going on. And it does change your cells. All those negative words, all those negative feelings that we hear growing up, right? They attach to our cells and that's what causes disease. And we know that.
well, so not only does it, okay, so that attaches to the cells, and yes, it causes disease. And then you're repeating that to yourself. So
Mhm.
you're maintaining and manifesting disease.
Right. And there that and a lot of that comes from a lot of self-talk that we do. We
Mhm.
get in our heads. There's a great book. I'm all about the books today. I got so many books to recommend. Have you ever heard of the book Untethered Soul, Michael Singer?
No.
Oh, he's amazing. The book is called Untethered Soul, and it is a book that okay, so in our heads, we've got this bad roommate. We've got that voice,
Right. I talk about this. I didn't know that this was,
bad
but yeah.
yeah, it's a bad roommate, and if
And
you
you
were to let
and
that
you're
roommate
not even paying rent, right? I mean, like,
right, and if you were gonna let that roommate out, he'd be in your apartment, and he would eat potato chips and throw them all over the floor and mess things up and leave the cabinet doors open and, mess up your couch and do terrible things. We have that roommate inside of us that is our self-doubt, that tells us, "Oh, you don't deserve that," or, "Oh, he doesn't love you," or, "You're not worthy," or, "You're not lovable." Those are all so it's a fantastic book to get, and he's got it on, audio and Audible too, as a matter of fact. Yeah,
I'm
all that stuff
actually
plays it makes a difference.
yeah, it's huge.